Yo, what's up, guys? This is your man Bob Rock, and this is the B Rock RC Show, a live podcast for the drifters by a drifter. Um, let's see. Well, nobody's on at the moment, so we're just gonna wait a little bit till we get a few more guys, a few more people coming in, and then we'll start. Let's see if we can get some people in. Let's see who we got. We'll invite you. We'll invite you. We'll invite you. And you, sir. And you as well. And you. And you and you. And you. You're a regular. And you, perhaps. And let's see what we get. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so anyway, guys, we're just gonna go ahead and begin. Um, so last week, we just wanna do a little recap about last week and what we spoke about in last week's episode. So last week we spoke about the new chassis from Wrap Up Next, which they called the Nervous R, and we also spoke about this emergence of a whole lot of new RC drifters who've been coming out of the woodworks and wanting to try something a little different to what they're usually doing, and uh, and you know how we can or what can we do to help keep these guys in the hobby once this whole lockdown is going well, once this whole lockdown is done with. So the idea is that we should try and get these guys to stay in the hobby and stay drifting. Although my prediction is that, like, I don't know, maybe about like 90%. I only see about 10% of these guys actually staying and keeping on with the hobby. So we need to change those numbers. We need to bump up those numbers there, and it's largely the way we approach these guys. But at the same time, I think a lot of it is an effort has to be made to sort of not really change their minds, but show them the beauty of RC drifting in the most humble and welcoming way as possible. Um, and hopefully these guys will see the light and will stay with the hobby. So that's going to be interesting in the next few weeks to see how that works out. Um, and then we also spoke a little bit about the same whole bunch of new guys wanting to use like entry level cars and make something completely magical with it, like turn it into rear wheel drive cars. Now, I don't really have a massive problem with that. I don't really have a massive problem with that. The problem I do have is that these guys are lacking the knowledge base to embark on such a on such a venture. They wanna convert an all-wheel drive into a rear-wheel drive, but they don't understand the dynamics and mechanics of a rear-wheel drive in order to do that. So, like, what's the point? You gotta understand something before trying to figure out, okay, how do I want to change this, or how do I want to change that, or what can I do, or what do these different parts do, and why are they designed in that certain way to give it the performance that it has. So you need to educate yourself first. You need to experience proper rear-wheel drive first before going and doing that. Yeah, and it's not like back in the day when rear-wheel drive was almost unheard of. So you had uh, the top level guys in CS wanting to experiment with the rear wheel drive and take it a bit further, and where they had to do physical mods to get their cars to uh, perform as a rear wheel drive car. We've gone far from that. We've gone far beyond that, and the technology exists now where you don't need to do that. And in fact, it's so simple now, so simple, that all you need to do is just get a normal rear-wheel drive car. And there's a couple excellent base level, competition level rear-wheel drive cars that will give you everything that you're looking for. It can perform every which way that you want it to without you having to break the bank. Whereas if you take a normal all-wheel drive car and then you start spending time and effort and money and all of these things to get it to do what the current rear-wheel drive cars are doing, you've actually wasted all of that resources that you're going to put into perfecting your rear-wheel drive skill. So you got to weigh the options. At the same time, I do acknowledge and recognize that not everyone has the how can I put it? Not everyone can afford going that route. Yes, we do respect it and we do understand, but you can't force the issue. When you have people who are experts in the field or who are well versed in the field, who are well known in the field, advising you in a most polite and pleasant way, that you're wasting your time, and now you want to be stubborn and arrogant about it and say, no, we're going to prove everybody wrong. My friend, let me tell you something. You're not proving anybody wrong. All you're doing is making yourself look silly, because a lot of us have been down that route where we've taken a normal car, tried to make it rear-wheel drive, um, and and this I'm talking was at a time when rear-wheel drive wasn't that popular. So guys have been down that road and they've struggled with it, so they know what they're talking about when they advise you don't waste your time. So you new guys that are out there, you need to pay attention and learn to take advice when people are telling you. And if you can't afford something, don't feel bad, don't jump the gun. Just keep your money, save it till you can buy something better, and buy good one time instead of wasting your time trying to break the bank and you know waste all that money, dude. Really, you're gonna save yourself a whole lot of money by just taking advice. Sometimes there's some people who really they got no way of speaking and they just talk anyhow. So you got to learn to block out those people and sort of see who's speaking to you with your best interests at heart. What's up, Cisco? Thanks for listening in. Thanks everybody who's joined in. Please could I ask you guys to share the link so we can get a few more people listening in here. Um, so yeah, that's part of my advice for the new guys in the game at the moment. So on to today's topics, and I hope that is something that you guys will engage with. So recently, I've been seeing a lot of. So far, the trend that I've been seeing since this whole lockdown quarantine has been started with was first guys would take their old chassis, their regular chassis, and just sort of maintain it, clean it up, put the batteries in storage, that kind of thing. Then came the revival, in inverted commas, the revival where people would take their older chassis and yeah, they take the older chassis that they haven't used in a long time, and they would just work on it, doll it up, get it moving again, maybe add a little bit of bling, a little bit of upgrades in there, and then and then that's their project done. Then the next the follow up to that trend is what I'm seeing now is guys doing working on bodies, working on new body projects, which I thought was a nice topic to start talking about, because it's amazing the amount of talent that's in there, man. That's out there. I appreciate it so much, Cisco. Uh, you know, I'm trying to get more listeners in, more people to listen in, but um, I think that the this okay, I'm just gonna lay it out there for everybody, and I think that yeah, it's something that's been bothering me for the past couple of weeks or so, and maybe you guys can give me some feedback on it. The whole idea for my podcast, and sorry, I'll come back to the topics about the body. So the whole idea or my whole intention with the podcast was to do something in an audio feed, because everybody was doing the whole video kind of podcast kind of thing. So I wanted to do the audio podcast, just to be a little bit different and give something a little bit different to the RC uh, community. That was one. The other reason for me doing audio is that I simply don't have a space where I can um, do a decent looking video, and also I don't have a decent enough camera to get a decent picture to do on a video. So few restrictions, but I'm not too cut up about it. Um, so the real where I'm going at with this is that the past few weeks I've been seeing the listenership of this podcast really going down. Um, so it's I won't say a sore point, but it's a little bit frustrating to see that you the numbers so low. And I wish I could do something a little bit. I wish I could do something about it, but I'm really out of ideas. Every week I try and come up with fresh content. Maybe my content isn't good. Maybe it's not appealing enough. Maybe it's not technical enough. So, hence why almost every week I ask for feedback. Excuse me. So every week I ask for feedback so that I can gauge how well or how bad the podcast is doing, um, and also if I'm on the right direction with the content. Because I mean, anybody can do this. It really doesn't take much, but to do something that's entertaining and then captivating, I think that's for me that's important. So, and I really don't know whether I'm doing that anymore. I mean, there's times when I had quite a few viewers or listeners, and but for the past few weeks, it's just been like not even 10. So um, I get the feeling like maybe I'm not doing something right, or maybe I'm on the wrong platform, or maybe I just sound bad. I don't know. I don't know. So please, your feedback to me is very important. So I know where I'm going wrong, and I know how to switch things up. So if anything, I might switch platforms and then actually do a video podcast. But obviously, I'll inform you guys and to let you know if I can make it work. I do need to just test the system out and then just see if the video quality that I can achieve at the moment would be suitable or not, and to see how well I can do it. And then we take it from there, and then we try that out. If it works, it works, and if it doesn't, then I'm afraid that I think I should just can it, because there's no point in doing something and nobody's listening to it, you know. So we just have to see from there. So anyway, enough of that. We're gonna skip all of that negative energy now and put our minds and our chatter into positive vibes now. So we were talking about body shells, and what seems to be the new trend in the under the lockdown now. A lot of people have been asking, where do we get these bodies from, and how do we do this, how do we do that, looking for all the tips and tricks and stuff like that. So I thought, it would be nice to have a chat about it. With myself recently, I finished up my Tamiya Supra project, which kind of didn't work out exactly how I wanted it to, because I made some silly mistakes with the with paint and my masking. So you know uh so that leads me to my next question, like masking versus liquid masking. Now I've never used liquid masking before. I've spoken to Vivian quite a few times about liquid masking, just asking him, okay, so like how you go about it, what kind of products do you use, and then he told me what he used, and the name fails me right now. I think the current one he's using is the liquid mask from Bitty Design, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And and then he just uses a few paints the body with a few layers. Obviously, it's a longer process with the liquid masking, I believe, because you got to put in a few layers so that when you do cut your design, uh, it does peel off easily. And if you do a thin layer, it's not going to work out too well. So what I do like about the liquid mask is that it's a lot more precise, but at the same time, you gotta have a steady hand when it comes to liquid masking. And geez, Vivian is like, he's so precise with but not just Vivian. There's a lot of very good, very talented builders out there. I'm just saying, comparing myself to them is like the chalk and cheese. So my masking of choice is, well, obviously tape, like a lot of other people. Um, but I prefer to use the Tamiya masking tape for the more intricate spaces, and to try and achieve the different line thicknesses and that kind of thing. So I use like a 2 mil, a 3 mil, and a 6 mil, just to mask up. I have tried multiple colors before, not more than three though. Um, and as it is with it, I tried it with two colors, and keepers out. Everybody that I've done had a bit of bleeding. As much as I tried, always had a bit of bleeding. So it's frustrating, but it's obviously a lesson learned each time. So I'm really gonna keep on trying. The Supra I wasn't happy about. Firstly, because I made the massive mistake of being impatient. And when you're doing bodies, you cannot be impatient. You have to take things slow, you have to take things easy, and you have to be patient, especially when you have to mask and paint, and then mask and paint, and you've got layers, and you're doing different colors, or you're doing an intricate design. You gotta have the patience to do each thing. And also when you're and each time you got to check your edges. If you're using masking tape like how I do, each time you got to make sure that your tape is stuck down properly. Make sure the edges are done properly, and then also when you're peeling off the tape to do your next color, make sure you the paint is not sticking to the tape, so that when you're peeling the tape off, the paint is peeling off, which is one of the problems I had on my Supra when I did it, and I couldn't understand why. And I attribute that to me just being impatient and pulling the tape too quickly, not letting the paint dry. So then what I had to do was then cut along the tape so that the paint doesn't get peeled off. But it did leave some untidy lines there, but I learned my lesson there. Um, and then it was the first time I worked with iridescent paints, so that was sure that was a different experience altogether. So I don't know whether I did it correctly or well, I mean, I must have done it incorrectly because the color didn't show. It was pink and gold iridescent, and I know guys told me you need to back it with black, but no. Here I go like a hero, and then I didn't I didn't stop where I was and said, let me just wait till this whole lockdown is done, get the right stuff and do it properly. No, I was too impatient. But at the same time, whilst I was too impatient, I must admit, I honestly did want to experiment a little bit and just see what happens when you back pink and gold iridescent with gunmetal. And what it did was, it just turned the gunmetal a little bit pearl into a little bit of a pearl color, which was odd. And then because I had a two color design going, so for the main color, again I used the pink and gold iridescent, thinking that on those areas it will show better. And then I said, you know what? I've got orange. What the hell? Let's just see what happens when you back pink and gold iridescent with orange. Because and I don't know whether I had an old batch of paint, because that iridescent came out extremely light. So I warmed the can up, I shook it up properly. I don't know whether it was old stock or what. So painted the pink and gold iridescent, is looking a bit sort of peachy. So I hit the orange on it, and the orange turned like a metallic pearl orange, which was crazy. So I was getting a whole different finish to what I had expected. But I must admit that it was interesting to see the difference and how that kind of worked out. And I suppose with a lot of things, as history showed, sometimes good things come out of accidents. So it in the end it didn't turn out too bad. So I was thinking that okay, the colors, the main dominating color is that gunmetal, and then you got a bit of that orange going on there. So why not break it up with something else? And I was gonna go with yellow. Then I thought, no, yellow might be too bright. So let's go with the blue. So I sprayed blue in between the gunmetal and the orange to give it that break. It didn't turn out too bad, but I still wasn't 100% happy with it. Then I had a little bit of the pink and gold iridescent left, and I managed to spray the mirrors and the wing with it, and those turned out pretty good. And then I said, okay, what the hell? I must, before I took out the overspray film, I cut out the film for the windows and the lights, and then I sprayed the whole body with iridescent. Now here's my problem. I was again, I was very stupid, very impatient, and I rushed the project. I didn't properly check how much, and I didn't gauge how much of paint I had left. So when I sprayed the body on the outside with the last bit of iridescent, the paint started sort of spitting, uh, and so like little droplets of paint was like spitting out, not even spraying out. So it was looking like a spotty bloody thing, and that just that just got me so frustrated. So I just went ahead with it. I said, okay, what the hell? Just finish the body, add in the accessories, and then I decided then and there that once everything is done, I'd get myself another body and then do that properly. But then after it dried and I added in all of the other accessories and a few sponsor stickers and some slap stickers at the back, fitted the body onto the chassis, chose some wheels that sort of suit the car, and I was like, okay, that's actually not too bad. So all in all, it actually didn't look too bad. I've posted up pictures on my profile, so you guys can have a look if you want to see. Also on my Instagram as well. So it actually didn't turn out too bad. Uh, but I think the biggest lesson I've learned out of this was patience. Just be patient. If you don't have the right stuff to do the job, just wait. Get the right tools, get the right materials to do the job, and do it properly. Don't be like me and rush the project. Okay, so Stick replied to my question about the liquid mask and masking tape. So like I said, I use masking tape, and I prefer using the Tamiya tapes. And I know a lot of other guys use liquid mask. Vivian is one of them. So Stig says he's never used liquid mask himself either. It's too hard to get his hands on, and masking tape is easily available. I agree. Masking tape sometimes is perfect, sometimes it's messed up. You have to stay focused, never think it'll be easy. That is true, and I learned that. He uses tapes from auto parts stores for the body work, Tamiya and Home Depot body lines most of the time from the inside with 1 mil. Tamiya masking tape looks good when done right, and if you bleed, you just do it on the outside. Yes, 100%. I agree. A couple times, yeah, I did fix up bodies by painting it outside. I think my JZX is one of them where I messed up that candy red paint. Oh my word. I wanted that shell for like ever. And then when I painted it, I messed it up. So I'm sure you guys have experienced that as well, where you had this body that you wanted for so long, and then you like all focused in, and then you mess up the paintwork. But I managed to fix it up on the outside with gunmetal and give it like a two-tone finish, and it actually came out fantastic. So the the candy red behind the gunmetal actually made that gunmetal pop so good. Okay, David says, "Don't worry, you'll get the hang of it. Some tricks and different ways to get good results." Yes, bro. Thank you again. I've learned quite a bit by doing this one, and I think that as long as you are learning from the mistakes you made, I think you will be good. And as long as you know where your faults are so that you can work on those, you're always going to progress. Okay, so Vivian comments here, a trick on clean lines is the thickness of the tape or vinyl you use. That's why he uses liquid mask, so you can layer it 0.3 mils thick, making crisp lines. Okay, I totally get that now. I can understand that. I suppose the Tamiya tapes are very thin. Especially that white tape that I'm using. I mean, it goes on well, but yeah, it does. It is quite thin. Uh, what if I used a double layer of that tape? Would that help? I'd imagine I'd have to try it out, but I wonder if that would work if you use a double layer of the masking tape on that line to get a crisp line. I suppose I have to try it out and see. Okay, Matthias says use liquid mask and tape. Interesting. The white Tamiya tape I layer twice. Ah, you see, you see. There's it right there. So that's I think that's why I had the problem when I took out that white Tamiya tape. That's the thinnest tape I have. It's 2 mil. Because when I started slowly taking that tape out, it pulled the paint with. And lucky it was just a small portion of the paint that I pulled. So what I did was I cut along the tape, and then I just made a very light cut along the tape, and then I managed to get the tape out. And I suppose it sort of came right when I added in the blue to sort of back everything up and add in that blue in that space there. So it kind of like sealed the paint. But I totally get you. Thanks so much for that, bro. Really, really appreciate it. Um, so yeah, that's one of the main things I was, with the masking versus the liquid mask. We're talking bodies now, and because I see it as like I said earlier, that seems to be the trend at the moment. Is with the bodies, guys doing different bodies now. Early on, it was different chassis. Um, so it was very. I see the trend happening now. So, and besides that, I'm getting tons and tons of questions about bodies and where do we buy this body from, um, and what kind of bodies and how much is it, and all sorts of questions like that. I'm sure you guys are also being asked the same as well. Um, so for me personally, I'm a Jap fan. I love the Jap style bodies. I love the Nissans, the Toyotas. Uh, and yeah, that's more my style, and more than that, I love the 4-door cars. That's why one of my favorite bodies out of all times is the Laurel C35. Fantastic body. My second would be the JZX. I love that 4-door bodies. I don't know what it is about that 4-door bodies that I love, but I just love the Japanese 4-door bangers. Those are my favorite bodies. There are a few others that I love that I'd like to get. My next one I'd like to get is a 180 SX. I'd like to get the Pandora Wind God. So we'll see what happens. Um, and then when deciding what body you want, especially for the new guys, I'd like to tell you, when you're choosing a body, please, your phones are very capable. Google is so simple to use, very very easy. Type in the word exactly how you're thinking of it in your mind, put it in the search bar in Google, whatever it is, and I promise you 9 times out of 10 you will find what you're looking for. $4 for more horse. Yeah. Yeah, man, exactly that. Hashtag 4-door bangers. That's what I see. Yeah, guys, really, Google is not difficult to use. If you can use WhatsApp and Facebook, you'll be able to use Google. Very easy. So search what kind of body you like. You know, if you like German styles, you like Japanese styles, you like the American brands. There's a lot of different cars out there. Now, obviously, there's more the Japanese style bodies than there are others, for fairly obvious reasons. Which I don't even need to go through with you guys. Uh, so just check out what's there, and if you want to get into drifting, then it depends how deep you want to go, obviously. So you get a lot of us who love drifting like passionately, and we are inspired by the origins of drifting, and the country that it developed from, and hence we like, the stuff that comes from there. So we want to drift like the Nakamuras and the Taniguchis, and then you get the European drifters as well. Uh, there's a there's a really good driver that Vivian loves, who he shall not be named. And then Susko also loves another rival driver who we shall not name as well. And they're constantly sort of poking fun at each other about that. So I won't go into more details there. But and then there's obviously the local drifters that we also watch and admire as well. So just check out there's a body style to suit almost every person. Now, for the local guys here in SA, I don't know about the other guys from SA that's listening in here, but for me, guys, I get questions all the time like, can you get a polo body, a VW Polo? Uh, where can I get a Golf One body? Where can I get a Caddy Bucky body? Um, uh, I had a few weird ones. Where can I get a Toyota Conquest body? Where can I get a Runix body? Like, geez, guys, you need to also do a bit of research as well. Not every manufactured car has a 1 in 10 scale body out there. So yeah, but I'm happy to answer all the questions and then let them down easy. Uh, but yeah, if you want to get into drifting, get into it. Understand. Try and just read up a little bit about the culture, about the origins of it. And when I say understand the culture, it's not a foreign thing to a lot of guys. A lot of guys are car guys already. So you understand the motor industry, the aftermarket, automotive industry. You understand the origins of different styles and where things had developed and come from, and like lowering cars and airbags, and then you got the Euro style and then the Jap style and then the rat and all of these things, and you understand that. So all you need to do is just apply a little bit of that same thinking and look at the drifters and see what they're up to, and so you can better arm yourself. Uh, oh, really? The caddy bodies as well. How interesting. How interesting. Well, you know what? Actually, the Golf One I can get. I know a guy somewhere in Joburg who's made a he's made a mold and can produce those Golf One bodies. But the Caddy Bucky, I don't know. But thanks for letting me know. I'll hit you up on WhatsApp. Cause I know a few guys have been asking about the Caddy Buckies, Blackburn style. Yeah, we know a few of those too. So, um, yeah, man. And also, there's so many different styles. Those are just the brands, and I mean, the brands that you're looking at, newbies, Pandora, ABC, Tamiya. Uh, am I missing anybody? Those are the main sort of brands. And you get slightly smaller companies. You got like Team Tetsujin. Then you got like A Plastics. Then there's Petit Design, but they more on the racing sort of things. Uh, there's this company in the UK. I think they call LL Models or L and L Models. They doing amazing Ford Escort bodies. Oh, these things are gorgeous. Then there's uh, RC Alos. They're also doing some nice stuff as well. So they are the slightly smaller companies that's doing. Yes, Hot Tap Bodies. Thank you, bro. Hot Tap Bodies also doing some amazing bodies as well. So there's a lot out there for you guys to look at, and it just, like I said, there's so much out there. Just art plastics, yeah, yeah, A plastics as well. Yeah, I've mentioned them. They're pretty good. They've got quite a decent range as well. Um, so yeah, there's all these different companies that's doing all these things. So just get out there and just Google, man. Just Google it. The pictures are out there. Believe me, the pictures are out there. And with that, you'll see the different paint jobs, the different stylings, and the different looks you can go for, and you can apply to the different cars. So even though I know a fair amount of people who do these amazing bodies, and quite a few of them are listening in at the moment. Um, I also go out and just search myself. So, like I said, go on to Google, and for the Supra that I did, I got my design from Pinterest. There's a whole lot of amazing designs that I've seen on there. So I just saved the picture, and then just try to replicate the same pattern. I am absolutely useless at it, but I tried, and it didn't turn out too bad. I definitely learned a lot. So the next time I do something a bit more complex, I know how to go about it. But I'm just saying the designs are all there. So just go out there and look. Um, so which leads me to the next part, to give your cars different looks. uh, you gotta use accessories, especially if you're going for something that's looking scale. So you want to grab products that closely resemble an actual product, that an actual part that you would see on a car. So on the top of my head, um, which leads me to our next motto, which is our South African motto, which was developed a few years ago in order to inspire and motivate people in the country to invest in the country, and that is called local is lekker. Just remember, local is lekker. The idea behind that is to support your local industry first before going and looking at outside of the country. So, out of the top of my head, SRC products, fantastic products for the price versus the quality versus the detailing of the product. It's amazing, and believe me, I'm not just saying this because I know the product well, and I know the face behind it. I'm saying it because I use the product all the time, and I know what I'm getting for what I'm paying for, and it's not just a fantastic product to use, but it adds so much of detail to your body, simply because care was taken into designing and making a product that resembles what you would see on an actual car. So we're talking intercoolers, oil coolers, the side mirrors, the rear view mirrors, vents, canards, the exhaust pipes. It's amazing. So I added what I could and what I could get my hands on onto the my Supra body. So I added in the large vents, very easy to use, very hard wearing as well. And the best part is it comes in one color, so that you can paint it whatever color you want to suit the body. And I have done so before, like on my world's build for my Skyline. I added a couple of vents on the hood, and I just painted it gold. The gold went on very well. The paint stuck on, it didn't flake, it didn't scratch, nothing. So we know that it holds your paint job well. uh, so accessories, guys, very important to achieve the look that you're going for. At the same time, not everybody needs over fenders. You don't need to put the rocker bunny style fenders on every single car. you got to take each car, each body that you're doing on its own merit, and to suit the firstly, you make sure that your body is fitting on your chassis nicely. Then you look, okay, what kind of paint job, what kind of style that I'm going for here, and then you add the accessories to accentuate that. So just keep in mind, go with try and get a theme, go for a look. For me, this time around, I tried to go for something very aggressive looking, but unfortunately for me, I didn't choose the right colors. Even though I chose some of the right accessories, I didn't choose the right colors to paint the car. So I kind of lost that aggressive look. So that's another lesson I learned. So it's all good. It's all good. And just to remind you guys one more time, and this is worldwide. I want to try, and I hope to see this this motto and this hashtag throughout the world. Local is lekker. Remember, local is lekker means investing in your local industry uh, uh, before looking elsewhere. And by that, I mean supporting your local track, supporting your local hobby shop, making sure that you visit these places, that you support them so that they don't close down. Because the moment it closes down, you're basically killing off a part of the hobby. And especially with the drift track, because eventually for guys that do want to get back into the game or do want to start it, there's no track available. Why? Because people who could didn't do anything about it. So please don't let your local tracks die off. If you can support them as much as you can, even if it's not in by any monetary support, physical support. Go to the track, ask them how can I help. Maybe they just need help with the cleanup, or maybe they just need help time to time to move stuff around or do a bit of maintenance. That is also supporting your local track. Go out there, visit the track, support the guys, and I promise you that's how you're going to keep this hobby going. So just remember, local is lekker. um, so I wanted to touch just a little bit about the new guys getting into the hobby, and a little bit about some drift training that you guys can do. Because I see a lot of new guys coming in and they're asking all sorts of questions, but uh, they're not quite sure how to go about things. I've seen videos of a few new guys just drifting aimlessly in an open spot, and anybody can do that, but it's not teaching you the right skills that you need to drift on a track. So when you guys are getting into drifting, do figure eights first. It's going to help you train your switching and your throttle control. Also put one cone in and do not donuts, but drift around the cone. So you drift in one direction and you drift in the next direction to try and get it going, because that's going to teach you a throttle control. The things to avoid is feathering the throttle. You don't want to do that, because what it's causing your car to do is to dip, and also what you're telling the car to do is to start and stop each time you feather your car. So when you look at any car when you're driving, you don't feather your throttle, because your car is like jerking all the time. If you feather the throttle, that's not how you drift. Drifting is smooth and consistent. So nice and easy. Try and keep the throttle smooth on, smooth off, and try and learn control like that. Avoid feathering the throttle. And then you guys can watch Pacecast. I think it's I'm not sure which episode they're on now, but I think it's like 2 episodes back, where they talk about some tips for the new guys about about drifting and how to go about drifting and everything, and they talk about feathering the turtle and stuff. So yeah, and that's just a little bit I wanted to talk about that. And again, you know, guys, I hope everybody's safe out there. I hope you guys are keeping well, and it's nice to see that all you guys are keeping the drift dream alive and keeping up uh, with your projects, shining up the RC cars a little bit there. So just keep that going, man. You know, if we just need to be a little bit patient. We're gonna get through this. Just make sure that you take all the necessary precautions and that you stay safe, not only for yourself but for your families as well. Because we all want to see each other on the track again. We all want to drift together again. We don't want to see anybody go down the dark road. You know, if you get what I'm saying. Especially for my guys in South Africa, we are yearning. We're like pulling out our hair, wanting to go back to Europe or wherever and go back for the World's Championship. We like desperately want to see all you guys again. So the only way we can do that is, if we knuckle down and make sure we all are safe and get through this the rough patch that we all are going through, so that we can all meet up together again. Once again, thank you so much to everybody who joined in and who's listening in to the show. I really appreciate all the support. Please like, share, and subscribe, because all my episodes go onto YouTube. I usually do it within the week, and you can catch all my other episodes that I've done. Another thing I'd like to mention is that this is episode 15. I can't remember if I put 14 there, but it's actually episode 15. So I managed to do 15 episodes, and it's all thanks to you guys and a few special guys who've just motivated me to keep it going. And some of you have replied here as well, some of you guys, and I think in everybody's life we all need that one or two people who can give you the kick in the butt, and keep you motivated to keep your head up and get through whatever it is that you are going through. And for me, I'm lucky enough to have a lot of people like that. And I'm very appreciative to you all for all of that. So the next thing I'd like to ask you guys to do is please send me feedback, whether it's here or whether it's a message. Just send me a bit of feedback regarding the show. What you liked, what you disliked about the show. Is it too long? Is it too short? Is it too general? Is it not specific enough? Are there topics that I should be speaking about, or is there stuff I should stay away from, or just in which direction I'm going? Are you guys enjoying the show? You're not? Is it a bit boring? I'd really like to hear from you guys, so that I can gauge how well I'm doing. And also the idea behind that is to give you guys a better show. So the more I can learn from you, the better show I can produce for you guys. So yeah, man, yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much again for listening in. You can catch me again the same time, same place next week on the B-Rock RC show. I'm hoping to get to do something a little bit different next week. Like I said in early on in the show, I might do something. I might switch up platforms, but I gotta just try it out first and see how well it works, and then we're gonna take it from there. Hey, what's up, Ralph? Nice to see you again after forever, dude. Ralph is one of the first guys I think I used to make contact with, and he's actually the I won't say the founder, yes, the founder of Pipes. If you guys have ever heard or knew about Pipes accessories, yeah, he's the one. He was the pipes behind the pipes. Eh, his products were absolutely amazing when they came out, and especially his light units and his backfire light units, one of a kind, and very very nice. It's just a shame that I couldn't get my hands on it while he was still doing it, but somebody else has picked that up. So you guys might want to support that. They're really good kits. They work very well, and definitely a good addition to your cars. So yeah, thank you all once again for listening in. I appreciate it. Like I said, you guys can catch this episode and the rest of them on YouTube if you missed it. I upload it during the week. I'll post up a link a little bit later or as soon as I upload the episode. So yeah, keep well, guys. Stay safe. Hope to see you all soon. Cheers. Have an awesome evening, and we'll catch you again next time. Peace.